Just saw this old building on the side of the road on my day off today where I get to travel and explore. And I don't know, I don't even know what I'm looking at here, but I know it's just not right and it's been messed with. So this is what drew me over here. And it's cool and all. It's got the stairways to the doors. It's got a flooded first floor or basement or whatever you want to call it. A pointless structure, a pointless floor for what you're building, a brick structure right above it. Like, why would you have a flooded first floor like this with all these little openings for, you know, varmint to get in? I just don't understand what the purpose is. And it does seem to appear to me, anyway, that it was a bit of an afterthought to create these little holes in the foundation. And I only say that because on this side it's a bad example, but all the way around, and I could show you, but there's a crack that goes from here to the ground. So to me, that just tells me, because these buildings aren't built to break down, it just tells me they added it after the fact, and probably isn't structurally sound because we don't know what we're doing. We're just trying to make this building usable and kind of hide the evidence. Well, that's what whoever did that did, you know. I'm not doing it. I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at here. And I know some of the old bricks have holes, but usually they're not. But these ones are. So I wonder if, like, behind this layer there's older brick, or if they did use these whole bricks. I don't know. It's possible. I just know that there's grout right here still stuck. So that tells me that there was probably brick here. And this doesn't look right. And it looks like an afterthought because it doesn't match and it's all gloopy. But this looks sound, and it's got the moss and it looks old, but this looks added. And it's very soggy ground here. So, and underneath you see rocks, but on the other side it's just completely flooded with mud. So I think people have been throwing rocks in there just for fun. I'm thinking it was a full first floor. And then I found a couple bricks with some writing, Hope Brick. And that one does not have holes. Hope Brick sounds like a Millennial Reign brick company to me. But then these have the holes. So maybe they use the hole ones for, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm looking at. This could be patchwork after the fact, but it doesn't look like it to me because it's pretty decent quality. But then when you see things like this, maybe just decorative, but also looks very modified to me, especially up there. But that brick up there looks older than this. I really just don't know. I wish I could figure it out. But this is what I'm talking about. Every single one of these has a giant crack. It's like they needed to add something to, like, let all the water out that was flooded so they could build on top of it, maybe, or so that it wouldn't stink inside. I just don't know, but it definitely looks to me like an afterthought. I can't really see in there, I don't think. Not very good. But yeah, so this is what originally drew me over here. It was just this cool red brick building. I'm always attracted to these. Well, there's a little bit of a hint. There's two different colors of brick. So this probably is a new layer that they've added, I would think. Yeah, especially when you look here. There is imperfections, which means it's probably newer. So you see a giant crack running down, and then there's another crack in that thing. I feel like the bottom concrete layer is original just because it's quality, and I think whatever modifications they did to make these little vents in the bottom that's what kind of broke it, if you had to ask me. But these two bricks are different. The one on the left is old, I think old and original possibly, and maybe they added a new layer to just, you know, the other walls and not these giant archways. Because this, to me, the front facing brick here looks added, but this looks original. And then you can see how there's a crack. It's coming away because that's our work and it doesn't last. And you can, maybe even the top might be original, but then the side, starting where it's coming apart right there, is what they added so they could put in this new door. That would be my guess. And the same kind of deal is going on over there. I'm not gonna walk over there, but there you see some bricks, so they were doing some work. And I hope my car's okay, but I just want to see what kind of bricks are laid out here. I'm gonna have one more oddity to show you. Little Rock AB something. I don't know. They don't have the holes. They look old to me. And there you can see that that side's coming apart, but this archway is pretty sound. Although that capstone does have a crack through it, it's still holding up really well. But you can tell they've put up the plyboard up there. It's all moldy and gross. And I take it back, I think that is also added up there. Even though it looks pretty, it's coming away at the top. But that could be modifications they did to above that area and then it destabilized it, I'm not sure. Definitely modifications. And then you know, we didn't make this sidewalk. Because if they made it, it would still be pristine. Because they know how to do foundations like none other. It's why I think that, like, whenever you find like an old building like this, I think its foundation is probably 8 feet or more, because there could be a whole nother floor under that buried. We would never know unless we dug out the entire floor and did a huge excavation to see if there's like a stairwell to another level, which would be a lot of work. And if someone did do it, you may not hear about it. It would be cool if someone did. So yeah, it looks like another layer's been added. I'm not sure what's going on, but I would like your thoughts on what I'm looking at, because it's just not right. When you can build foundations really well in a really amazing building, you're not going to bury your first floor and then just make staircases to go up to the next level. I don't think, unless they had a purpose for those buried floors. But then I saw this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's a lot of work just for a little outside area. It's been damaged, but to me, it still looks really quality, and you can see the mud pouring out of those holes. So are we looking at like a foundation of like that kind of building? And then they just like removed all the brick? I'm not sure, but there's all this stuff, details that either were added, which I don't know why they would waste their time with that, because we don't usually use that much detail or extra mortar because of costs. But you can see that the sidewalk was just basically placed over the top of this structure, and it's the same on the other side. I'll take you to the other side so you can see. Just a little bit of an explorer out here in Mineral Springs, Arkansas. Their little community center here. So you can tell they just laid the concrete on top of this wall that was probably an old world structure of some kind, but I couldn't tell you if it's the top of it with maybe the roof destroyed, or what's going on here, or if they removed the building that was here. I took a little walk around to see if I could find where they dumped all the bricks and everything, but usually they reuse a lot of the bricks to build other structures or to repair or kind of fix or alter old buildings that they leave up, like the one over there. So they could have taken all the bricks from this, maybe it was too destroyed or too far gone, or they didn't want it for whatever reason, and then they used it to put a layer on top of the brick that was still standing over there, so they didn't have to bother with modifying the windows too much. They just kind of made a new layer, covered them up. Didn't want to mess with making a double layered window, which would show, you know, that there's another layer of brick. I don't know, because I've seen other buildings where they do that, where there's like 3 or 4 layers of brick. And so I just don't know what they're doing here. They use different methods to disguise the old buildings on different, you know, locations, and they use various levels of effort based on how many people are going to see it. So this wall runs along, and it's just got a lot more detail than I would ever expect from our people. You know, I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe they just made decorations with the mortar, but it looks like it's been there a while. It's got that orange moss that's sometimes on really old structures. Probably an old water line of sorts, maybe. But this is added because it's cracking. So we know that's not us, or it wouldn't be cracking. It also looks like they did use a machine to take off something over here. It's got like the quarry marks, whatever machine does that. And maybe here too, I'm not sure. But then obviously we added this POS, whatever it's for, probably a little stage for events. I guess I'm in Tollette. I don't know how they pronounce it here, but Tollette. So that's basically it. Definitely old world. I just couldn't tell you what I'm looking at. But maybe you can shed some light on it.